What's the most satisfying revenge story you've ever heard? For me, this one takes the crown. 3 years ago, I had a college roommate named Ben. He was the type to borrow your stuff without asking, eat your food, and then deny it ever happened. But the worst thing he ever did? He stole from our third roommate, Chris. Chris was a quiet, hardworking guy who had saved for months to buy a high-end laptop for his graphic design classes. When it finally arrived, he was thrilled and spent hours setting it up. 2 weeks later, it was gone. At first, we thought our apartment had been broken into, but strangely, nothing else was missing. Then I noticed Ben had been unusually quiet all day. When we confronted him, he flat out denied taking it. Chris was devastated but had no proof. Fast forward 2 months, and suddenly, Ben had a brand new laptop identical to Chris's stolen one. He swore up and down that he bought it with his own money, but we all knew he was lying. Chris was furious, but instead of confronting Ben, he started being oddly nice to him. That's when I knew something was up. Turns out, Chris was studying computer engineering, and before his laptop was stolen, he had secretly installed tracking software. He never told Ben. Over the next few weeks, he quietly collected evidence, tracking every website Ben visited, every file he opened, even his personal messages. He compiled it all into one file, waiting for the perfect moment. Then came the day. Chris walked into our apartment, holding the stolen laptop like it was no big deal. He smiled and said, "Hey Ben, I need to show you something." He opened the laptop and played a screen recording, showing Ben logging into his private Instagram account, pretending to be a 16-year-old high schooler chatting with underage girls. In reality, Ben was 19. Ben's face went pale. Chris didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He just smiled and said, "You have two choices. Give me back my laptop, or I send all this evidence to campus security and the police. Your call." Ben stammered, but finally admitted to taking the laptop. But Chris wasn't done. He demanded that Ben not only return it, but also pay him $500 for wasting his time and causing stress. Ben had no choice but to agree, even signing a written agreement. But the best part? Chris didn't stop there. He turned in all the evidence to the school. Ben was expelled within weeks for theft, and it didn't end there. The principal forwarded the recordings to the police. A few weeks later, Ben wasn't just kicked out of school. He was arrested. Sometimes, the best revenge is letting people destroy themselves.